Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. The reveal of General Grievous is finally here through his deep dive community transmission. A lot of you probably watched this stream earlier today, which was like a record stream for this year. 2,300 people was the highest peak, and I think it was like top 19th stream on YouTube. So it was amazing to see the hype back in the community because, well, we got our first glimpse of General Grievous, except for the EA Play image, of course, and actually Geonosis as well, as you can see right here. Absolutely stunning image with General Grievous and his 4 lightsabers out. And I just wanted to say that if you want my unfiltered thoughts and kind of the entire community transmission read through, I would recommend checking out the stream. I will leave a link to that in the description below, because in this video I'm going to go over the news part, I guess you could say, the abilities, the star cards, the other things around General Grievous. Not so much about the lore text and that kind of stuff, but I will leave that to the stream. But something worth bringing up, for instance, here is that he will have 2 lightsabers for his regular attacks, but some of the abilities will bring out 4 arms, which I will get to in a second when I get to the actual abilities. He will also be able to block. This is something that they said in the EA Star Wars post and not the actual community transmission, because they say for base attack sequences General Grievous swings 2 lightsabers, while on defense he can also use the same to deflect enemy sabers and blaster bolts. So that's quite interesting and something that there's been a lot of discussion about in the chat, because he shouldn't be able to deflect as much as any Jedi or Sith, but it does make sense that he can deflect a couple of bolts, because he can do that in the Clone Wars series as well, and lightsabers obviously, because those don't really require force powers to block. So we'll see how much he can deflect, and we probably can't deflect directionally, but it's probably going to go all over the place, and in that case that makes a lot of sense. I think we should simply jump straight into the abilities to give you an idea of how it's going to play out. First of all, the Thrust Surge is an ability where General Grievous will focus on a target in front of him and rush to them while doing a stab motion with all 4 of his lightsabers. So as you can imagine, this does feel like a anti-hero ability, or potentially like anti-Wookiee ability maybe, because it probably won't be worth using on just one player, or I guess if you see one normal trooper, why not use it? But I think you know what I mean. If there's 3 people, you wouldn't use this particular ability and kill one of them and then get killed by the other 2, if that makes sense. So it's a very single target focused ability. But then we have Claw Rush, where General Grievous goes down on all 6 limbs and rushes forward, damaging and pushing away any enemies in his path. So that's more of an AoE ability. Sounds a bit like a kind of shoulder charge on steroids. And it's hard to say how much damage it will do. I'm hoping it's going to do maybe 150, so that you can at least one-shot the specialists, officers and assaults, if they're not boosted, of course. But there are star cards to increase that damage, so we'll see how much it does. But it also says that it pushed them away, which means that hopefully even if you don't kill them, you will still knock them down and you can turn around and then finish them off. And maybe even combine that with the third ability, Unrelenting Advance, where you spin the 2 lightsabers of his head and can advance on his enemies. While this is active, Grievous blocks any frontal attacks and damages enemies in front of him. So that sounds like a good combo with Claw Rush. Do the Claw Rush and then the Unrelenting Advance in the other direction, or the other way around. And this one is probably going to be extremely handy in closed corridors like on Naboo or Kamino. It's going to be very interesting to see how strong it's actually going to be and how fast it's going to move, because if he's incredibly slow when he does that against Obi-Wan, but I think he's probably going to be a bit faster in the game, making him actually more useful. And then we have all the star cards. I'm not going to go through the actual names, but I'll simply go through the effects. First of all, increased maximum health regeneration, probably similar to the card that Leia has, for instance. And then a simple health on kill card, where you get 20 health for a kill and more for a hero, same as most other heroes. And then one that increases the damage with lightsaber attacks, but they drain more stamina. So potentially something that could be good in hero game modes, I'd imagine. And then 2 different ones for the Thrust Surge. First of all, where he can target enemies further away, and secondly, where he does more damage further than X meters. So if you combine that with the one above, I can imagine you can do some serious damage to heroes if you are on the right distance of them, and I think that's going to be pretty good on closing against blaster heroes similarly. And then one when it gets damage reduction while using Claw Rush, potentially good in Galactic Assault, and also one where after one enemy has been hit, Claw Rush deals more damage. I think that's similar to the card Rey has. And then 2 for Unrelenting Advance, one that increases the duration and one that increases the damage. And I think a lot of these are going to be hard to pick at the start, but you kind of need to test him first to see what you need to boost up and what you don't need to boost up. But one thing is for sure, the health card is probably going to be the first one I unlock, since that's incredibly helpful in Galactic Assault. Moving on, here is the full list of the voice lines. A lot of these you will have seen from the previous Hero Voices community transmission, but there are some that I thought was really interesting and I wanted to bring up, such as "This will be easier than Dathomir," probably referring to when he went to Dathomir and pretty much slaughtered all the Night Sisters, which I thought was a really good episode in the Clone Wars, and I really like that they have that kind of references. And then things like "Do not cling to me like a Dianoga, attack," something that I'm not sure if maybe he will say to the droids around him. Don't be like cowards, push in. And a Dianoga, if you didn't know, is the creature that attacked Luke and the gang on the Death Star, kind of lived in the trash compactor. So another quite interesting reference. And then of course we had all the basic ones that you've already heard. "You are a bold one," "Your lightsabers will make a fine addition to my collection," "You must realize you are doomed," and so on. A lot of good ones, and these are not all of them. It's a small selection, just to be clear. As for victory poses, we have "Lines of Death," "Jedi Hunt," "Doom," and "Consider yourself crushed," and that doesn't really say a lot until we get to see them. As for emotes, we have "You are a bold one," "Crush them," "Surrender," and "Your screams are music to my audio receptors." As for the milestones, we have two simple ones where you need to get the score with General Grievous, and then one for each ability where you need to hit or kill 30 enemies with one of the abilities. And lastly, we have the appearances. The default one will be the Jedi Hunter, which is the one we can see in the actual concept art. And secondly, the one that's been released together with him, a rare skin, the battle damaged General Grievous. No more details on exactly how much it's going to be battle damaged and so on, but 20,000 credits and then 35,000 for actually unlocking him. You can get the skin for crystals, but not the hero, which is kind of a good way to make sure it's really nowhere close to pay to win. You can only buy cosmetics with the crystals. So make sure that you have your 35,000 credits saved up for the 30th next week. And the last thing I have to say is that November 28th is when the Battle of Geonosis will be released, as confirmed by the EA Star Wars post. So that's roughly, or pretty much exactly 1 month from the Grievous update, and Ben did confirm in my stream chat that the community transmission for Geonosis is coming early November, so hopefully not as late as this one did. But I think that is all for this video. Again, if you want some more unfiltered talk and some readout of the entire community transmission, including the lore, that will be found in the description below in my live stream. But that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.